I'm back in the game with a new show. Are you ready? What's up, guys? I'm your host, Jul Torq, with a brand new show just called Jul Torq. So this is a brand new podcast video. It's going to be available pretty much everywhere. So the video form will be on the channel, the YouTube channel, Jul Torq. And the audio form will be available on all the podcast provider. So if you're new to the channel, I've been doing automotive reviews for almost 10 years now. I've been doing a lot of reviews back in the days, especially on this channel. I've been doing a little bit less videos lately. I was putting all my effort on my French channel. I'm from Quebec, so I'm doing also a lot of content in French Canadian. And also I've got another podcast called the Torq Podcast with my wife, Ev Torq. We do a lot of episodes each week. We're in the top podcast in the automotive category in Canada. So now I want to bring the English version of this podcast, but this podcast will be all by myself. But this is really a new formula I'm bringing to the channel. So it won't be the typical reviews, news, but I'm still doing a lot of reviews, news, and lifestyle. We're going to talk about a lot of subjects, road trips, traveling, everything involving around the automotive world. Obviously, I'm still reviewing a lot of cars each week. I'm still traveling with the OEMs with product launches and stuff like that. But this is a hybrid formula, I could say. It will always be available in video and podcast form, similar to what I'm doing for years now on the French channel, but I'm bringing back the English version of it. So bringing you a quick background of my expertise in the automotive world. Who's Jul Torq? What does he know about cars? I grew up in a small city near the U.S. border in Quebec. We had a drag strip, so it's kind of like in our blood to do racing where I'm from. And it's a really rural, kind of like small village with a lot of farmers, tractors, and stuff like that. So I grew up with a lot of pickup trucks, heavy machinery with my dad. I drove all kind of big and small machinery while I was growing up. Then after that, I went to college in Barrie, Ontario, near Toronto, at the Georgian College. I did my degree in marketing and management in automotive. So basically, if you want to involve in the automotive world and also maybe managing a dealership, that's pretty much the degree you should get, especially if you're in Canada. Then after that, I went to in Florida at the Northwood University to get my degree. So I got my BBA in automotive management and marketing. So after that, I worked with a lot of OEMs, especially in auto shows and also dealership training, on-track training and all that. So I work with GM, I work with Toyota, Volkswagen, Mercedes-Benz, and finally with Ford and Lincoln. I spent almost 9 to 10 years with Ford and Lincoln. My first auto show, working at the auto show, not visiting the auto show, was back in 2003 with Saturn and Saab. Yes, these brand doesn't exist anymore, but I had a solid more than 15 years on the auto show tour, traveling across Canada and the US, and speaking to thousands of people at those auto shows. So I think this brought me a lot of experience, and it's different from the typical maybe auto journalist or influencer, because I spent so much time on those floor, those different places, different cities, talking with people with different interests, asking all kind of questions for years and years and years. And answering those questions also for years and years. I think that brought me a lot of expertise. Obviously, all those OEMs, I got a lot of training on the products with engineers, products expert for years and years. So I've got a couple of companies. I'm really good with it. Some other companies, I'm not, I don't have as much expertise, but when we talk about trucks and high performance cars, this is really my niche, and that's what you will find here at the Jul Torq podcast show. I do mostly trucks, big SUVs, performance cars, and then sometimes I try to do other things too: EVs, small cars, compact SUVs. But obviously, I'm a big guy. I like big trucks. I like big horsepower. If you've been following me for years, I used to drive a Mustang GT with a Gen 1 Ford Raptor, Ford F-150 Raptor. Also, after that, I had like a GMC Sierra IT4. Then I switched for a GMC Yukon Denali. I've got a pretty big family also. I've got my wife. We've got also 3 daughters. So we're really good to test all kind of like family cars. That's for sure. And we really test those cars. That's what you can expect here. And then after that, I got my Yukon stolen right here in my driveway. That's typical stuff that happen all the time here in Canada now these days. And then I switched my Yukon for a Ram 1500 TRX, so Hellcat powered Ram with 702 horsepower. I really love this truck. That was one of my dreams, having this truck, especially here in Canada with the weather we've got. I always wanted to put a supercharger on my Gen 1 Raptor, so basically this TRX answers all my needs and my desired. And I'm a horsepower junkie. I like big engines and stuff like that. That's pretty much what you can expect from me. So each week, multiple episode, reviews, lifestyle, news. I'm going to stay you up to date. I'm going to go back on some reviews I did in French and was not able to do it in English. So I'm going to bring back some episode. It's just, it's not, I'm not actually bringing back those episodes. It's just, maybe I'm going to bring a new episode on something I drove like 2 months ago, or not specifically this week. Some cool cars I drove before they disappeared. These days, more and more EVs. So I want to bring you guys all the fun stuff. Lately I traveled to Utah to drive the new Ford Ranger Raptor. We're gonna talk about that. Raptor R, TRX. That's the stuff. We're gonna talk a lot about those stuff. But it's a new formula I want to bring. It's gonna be raw. It's gonna be real. I'm not here to do a walk around and say this car is fantastic. The car is going to be always super clean. I call that a dealership presentation to try to sell you a car. I'm testing cars. I'm not trying to sell you cars. I'm going to bring you the truth. So if I like a car, I'm going to tell you about it. If I don't like something about a car, I'm going to talk to you about it. Even if there's some stuff I don't like, I can put myself into the position of someone who's maybe smaller than me. I'm going to bring the feedback from Eve also. She's way smaller than me, and she's also have her female, special touches and attention and stuff I don't really see. So that's something you get on the French version of this podcast. But I can bring her feedback also in this podcast. But it's going to be raw. If I'm testing a car and there's something going on wrong with it, example, I've got an EV and it didn't recharge, or I tried to recharge it on a charger and it takes more time, I'm going to tell you about it. Even if you're EV, pro EV, or a pro horsepower, this and that, I'm just gonna tell you the truth. I'm not here to, like I said, please everyone. I'm telling the truth. It's raw. It's even on my reviews or my news. If there's a new car and there's like funky stuff, or there's some rules, or I see the OEM trying to please some new political stuff, I'm gonna talk about it. I'm not talking about politics here, but I'm gonna help you to see why sometime maybe OEM's gonna take this decision instead of this, and why there's like funky stuff happening right now in our industry. If there's a new design I don't like about it, I'm gonna tell you my true, honest opinion here, and that's pretty much what you can expect. So once again, this show will be available in video form. So on YouTube, you can expect not only seeing myself, but also see stuff I'm gonna shoot. So it's a hybrid between a podcast and a review. So I'm bringing a lot of image, a lot of videos on top of me speaking, but also you're gonna have the audio form. So if you don't have time to watch this video on YouTube, you're gonna also get the audio form. So if you're at the gym, going to work, while driving, while working, you're gonna be able to listen to my wonderful voice and my wonderful accent from Quebec, Canada. So guys, you can ask me a lot of questions in the comments. If you have a specific question about something you want to buy, specific question about cars, I can do Q&As. If you have specific cars you want to see on the channel, reviews wise, I work with pretty much every OEM brands. There's only one or two I'm not dealing with so far, but we're working on our relationship to work. If they have a special agenda, I'm not able to really speak my opinion. Maybe I won't deal with this OEM, but for 95% of all the OEMs, I have a really good relationship with them, so it won't be a problem on this side. So let me know in the comments. Don't forget to subscribe here on YouTube or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all that. This is a brand new show. I need you guys to come together, share it with your friend, and we're gonna see each other on the next podcast.